Today's episode is brought to you by Camano Island Coffee. If you are looking for a less acidic, organically grown, organically processed coffee, you will want to go to mountainwomanradio.com/coffee and check out Camano Island Coffees. Hey my friends, welcome to Mountain Woman Radio. I am your host Tammy Trayer, and this is episode number 249, and it is glorious and sunny, and I am sitting in it. It's only 45 degrees out here, but the sun feels so glorious after 3 weeks of straight rain. So I'm sitting here, and I thought what a great opportunity to spend some time with you all. So today's episode, I want to encourage you to not be afraid to embrace your dreams. And I want to give just a little special shout out to Miss Tiffany. I met Miss Tiffany last week or the week before in a local town in a wonderful little store that has all kinds of little antiques and used things. Great store, my favorite. It's called Happy's. And I happened to connect with her in a very divine way. I was talking to somebody else and she heard my name. And she is a listener of Mountain Woman Radio, and she shared with me, and I just want to thank you, Tiffany, for this. She shared with me how much it meant to her to be able to have my encouraging words to her during her journey stepping out into off-grid living for the first time. And really, it was very comforting, confirming words for me to know that I'm doing what I was called to do. And that all started on a journey of just embracing our dreams and embarking on a life that we desired to live. And I hear so often people being discouraged by other people. And honestly, we were being bet against by a lot of people close to us, by the locals. They all thought we were some form of nuts, and we are, and that's okay. But our being nuts has led us to this beautiful place, to this beautiful life. And we're not done. You know, we are adventurous, and we enjoy following our heart's desires, following where God is taking us. And I just praise Him so greatly that neither the mountain man nor I were willing to be discouraged when we initially embarked on this journey 14 years ago. Can you believe it? It is 14 years this year. It's so crazy. It went by so fast. But this has been an amazing journey, and you guys, many of you have followed us all along and seen all the ups and downs, the adventures. You've watched us build our home from the ground up. When we first embarked on this journey, we ended up on raw wilderness land that we purchased sight unseen. The realtor took us out there for the first time, and we were like kids in a candy store. It was so overgrown and wild and woolly, but you know what? We both saw the potential, and we were both so super excited. And we set up our canvas wall tent, and we were in a similar situation as this, a month of rain, a straight month of rain. We had dug footers the first 3 days we were there, and those footers filled up with water. They were like 4 feet deep. It was crazy. And at that point, one of the things that shifted during that rainy season was what we were building and how we were building it and where we were building it. And as soon as we reestablished that, the rain stopped. And I think that was God just redirecting us. And, when we have such a deep yearning in our heart to do something unique for ourselves and our families, I don't think that we should allow anybody to squash that other than God. And if God squashes it, it's because there's something better for you and he has something different for you. But to listen to people, the naysayers and those that just don't understand. I mean, some of you may be, in my healing journey, my choices were not desired by some people. But I knew that deep in my soul that God was guiding me where he was guiding me, and I needed to follow that path. And sometimes we're going to go against the grain of the world, of people closest to us. They're just not going to understand. Or they might be a little jealous of our journey because maybe they had dreams and desires and they squashed them themselves and they never embarked on the things they wanted to do. And that's not your fault nor my fault. That's on them. And when bitterness and jealousy and envy and all of those negative things come into play, people do funny things. So this is where I really just want to tell you to truly be your authentic self. Chase the dreams that God is putting in front of you. Dive into those open doors that he opens for you. And when the doors close, celebrate them. Celebrate that those doors closed because it wasn't for you. It'll save you a lot of headaches. It'll save you a lot of headaches. There are some things the Mountain Man and I did in our journey, and we probably weren't fully in line with God's will. They were a little difficult. We banged our heads a little bit. But you know what? When we finally started to see that we need to follow him and follow where he's taking us, and it will be better than we could have ever imagined, so much shifted. So, pull into him. Seek him, ask for direction, wisdom, and knowledge. It's our first prayer every morning. I want him to guide my life. But I want to instill in you guys, because I know that I am in a very different place than most of you. And it's a really freeing place when you get to a place where you don't care what other people think, and you know that you're on the right path, and you know and you see all the doors opening, other doors closing. You see things happening in front of you. You see God's miracles that most people miss also. And you see the path put in front of you, and you're not afraid to. We've got to be not afraid to embrace that. I hate to say it this way, but be okay when people are upset with you. Either they'll get over it or they won't. But the thing is, if we allow other people's emotions and sometimes their lack of creativity or adventure to stop us and slow us down, we may miss some of the greatest things God puts in front of us. And for me and for the Mountain Man, we don't want to miss those things. I've said it so many times. I don't want to get to the end of my life and say, I wish I would have, should have, could have. I want to say, wow, I did that. That was absolutely wild. Or wow, I tried that. Wasn't, it was okay, but I tried it. I want to do it all, and I want to be able to embrace it all. And that starts with being comfortable with you, comfortable with the decisions you're making for yourself and your family, and not worrying about the rest of the world. Honestly, I think in a lot of ways when we are viewed as the oddballs, it's because we are the ones that are willing to blaze the trail and not follow the status quo and not keep up with the Joneses, that we are embracing where we are supposed to be going. We are embracing what God is putting in front of us. And we are called to be peculiar. It truly says that in the Bible. We are called to be peculiar. And as you've seen and as I've shared, I'm owning that. I'm owning that statement heavily, and I'm okay with that. And I'm glad I'm okay with that. And I'm sad in only one way, that it's taken me this long in my life to get there. I just turned 54, and I'm really grateful for the place I am. But I wish as I say always, we were meant to go through what we go through. It makes us stronger. It builds us. It creates longevity and perseverance, character. And my husband would tell you I'm all of that. So embrace your dreams. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to do something that no one else has ever done. Because you may be the reason you're doing that, is because you're the one that's supposed to be the one to do it. Think of those things. There's always been trailblazers. In the Depression, there were people that were struggling immensely, and there were others that shined. Why? Because they saw opportunities in the chaos, and they had visions, and they went against the grain. And that's true through life. So never shortchange yourself. And if you're trying to make decisions right now, maybe not embracing a homestead or off-grid living, but maybe you're embracing the desire to homeschool your children, and it's just not something your families have ever done, and they're going, they don't understand it. Or you're eating healthier, and people don't understand why you won't, go out to eat at Wendy's or McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, and that you're making different choices and that you're doing different things. Don't ever be afraid or ashamed of those positive changes you're putting forth in your life. Now, if you're, chasing alcohol and drugs and doing something negative, that's a different story. But if you're chasing positive things and good things and things that are going to bring a positive impact to yourself, your family, your children, grab hold and just go. I say it often, and this has been my saying the last 2 years, is that I am hanging on to Jesus's robe hem. My feet are flying wildly behind me, and I'm being very cautious not to injure anybody on my way. But I'm enjoying this journey, and I have been enjoying this journey, and I am grateful and praising God that my husband and I were strong-willed people, determined and adventurous and willing to do and go where God was calling us to go. And there's been so much purpose in us being here and doing what we do. And honestly, I don't know if you guys all know this or not, but our presence on the internet is truly by accident. This was not something we were desiring to do. I started a website for our building process so that our family back home could keep up with our progress and see where we were at, and knew that we weren't eaten by lions and tigers and bears while we were living in a wall tent. And we started doing YouTube because it was easier to YouTube, because I didn't have time to write, so I could just slap a video on YouTube. And here we are 14 years later, and educating on preparedness and off-grid living and homesteading and inspiring and encouraging people. And now I'm in the wellness arena and the health and healing with faith-led healing, and helping people get to the root cause of their struggles, and again inspiring and encouraging them to take their life and their health into their own hands. You never know what that first step is going to lead to. But I can guarantee you this: if God is calling you to it, there is so much purpose in it. And it's not going to be perfect. You're still going to have your ups and your downs, but it's going to be better than you could have ever imagined. And you're going to be impactful, because when He calls us to something, there's purpose in it. Like I said, we never imagined we'd be doing this. I'm a web designer and programmer by trade. Yes, I'm on the internet, but it was not in the beginning. If you watch our original videos, I hated being on the camera. I refused to do live video because I just couldn't imagine, what a mistake, it was not in my calling at the time. But God has progressed me to this place. He will do the same to you, So I just want to encourage you. to embrace what you are being called into and embrace what you are called to do. And no matter how little or how large, there's purpose in everything. And you know, for God to be impactful on this planet, He brings us all together, and all of our little things mesh with the big things, and it makes a very grand story. We all have a story, we all have a testimony, and if you don't embrace your dream, you're going to miss out on being able to share that story. You know, my man and I have a great story to share. My mountain boy and us have a great story to share, and it's important that we share it. And that's my encouragement today. And again, I want to thank Tiffany for reminding me why I'm doing what I'm doing, and just for that, for rekindling my fire. It's always there, but you know, sometimes we question if we're being impactful or if we're making a difference. And it doesn't necessarily matter to me if I'm doing those things. I want to reach people. I want to help people. So it was just a good confirmation. I'm not doing this for pride. I'm doing this to try to encourage people. I see so many people stuck in life and afraid to embrace their dreams, afraid of, you know, the unknown, afraid of newness, afraid of what other people are gonna think more than anything. And that drives me crazy, because the ones that are typically the naysayers are the ones that would never be willing to do what you're doing. And they walk out of a place of fear or bitterness or anger. There's always something in that. And you never know, maybe by you embarking on whatever it is you're doing, you may be the light that they need to see to realize it's possible, or to encourage them, or to light that fire in them to embrace what maybe they're missing. We all impact each other in different ways. You know, I'm grateful for people like Tiffany and others that show up in my inbox or write me a letter, or I run into. You know, everybody's got a story, and it's amazing, and it's neat to see how they all mesh together at times. So this was a little bit of a jumbled mess, but I hope it was encouraging. I hope it was inspiring for you. And I just want to encourage you, regardless what it is you want to do, even if it's taking a class and learning something new. I take classes right now all the time to improve my knowledge and to improve my skills and to be able to be the best version of myself. And, you know, whatever it is, embrace it. Embrace it. I know it doesn't matter how old or how young you are. Sky's the limit, guys. And with God, nothing is impossible. So whatever it is on your heart, whatever it is you desire to learn, look on Instagram and on my Faith-Led Healing podcast. I shared a painting. I'm back into watercolors, and I couldn't get all my equipment this past week. So I decided to watercolor. Embrace things, nurture your soul, make the life you desire to live, create the life you desire to live. So those are my thoughts for you today. So hope you enjoyed the sunshine. Hope you enjoyed the conversation a little bit here, the topic of conversation, and I look forward to seeing you guys on next week's episode. I've got good things coming. I can't wait to share what we have coming. So stay tuned. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. God bless.